met Debbie this morning. Let's hear it for Ryan, right?
Yeah, truly I feel like I am among many friends I hardly knew I had, because as many of you know, I'm from Vancouver, British Columbia, up in Canada. I'm not from like these parts, so I get holed up in my little country home, in my little office there. I do my little thing at my little computer, and people tell me, Ryan, you have no idea what your little company is doing all over the nation. All these people are using your music every week, and it still feels a little bit distant to me until I come here, and then I say, hey, I'm Ryan, I'm from PraiseCharts. Have you ever heard of PraiseCharts? And they're like, I use your music every week. The next guy, and the next guy, and the next guy. So then I was actually going through this book here, and I noticed that you all wrote down cool websites that you like, so I'm like flipping it through, and I'm seeing, there's actually two names there that I'm seeing come up a lot, and one was Planning Center. How many of you are Planning Center fans? Well, there you go. And then I was quite pleased to see that PraiseCharts was mentioned quite a lot through there, and I thought, oh my goodness, like, these people are really my friends. So I have to say, this is my first Metro ever, but it's the best one I've been to. So very, very, very good. So yesterday, when I found that, you know, Planning Center and PraiseCharts were showing up a lot, and a lot of the times it would say Planning Center and PraiseCharts in the same breath, basically. So Jeff, who is the owner and developer at Planning Center, and I have become pretty good friends, and we spent like a week together going for coffee when I was holidaying in Palm Springs. I landed at this house where we were staying, and I called up Jeff, and I said, Jeff, I happen to be in Palm Springs. I wonder if you live close, maybe we could go for coffee. Well, turns out he lived like 2 blocks away from where I was staying. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'd call each other up and go to Starbucks at 7 a.m. and just dream and talk and think, how could we actually work together in the future? So yesterday I called Jeff and I said, Jeff, I'm here in Dallas, and like, you are a hero in this place. Everybody loves your service. And I just was pouring on encouragement to him, and I want you to know that Jeff has been emailing me several times, and people on our staff this year saying, Ryan, I'm watching the tweets, and all these people are saying, when is PraiseCharts and Planning Center actually going to work together? And I'm happy to tell you that for the last couple of months, it's been on my programmer's top priority to develop a back-end bridge that we can build between our sites. And just yesterday I was talking to Jeff, and he has personally taken on as a programmer that it's his highest priority project now to put this API that we've developed. So that's to serve you, and it partly reflects our culture that we want to cooperate and work together with, you know, all of these publishing companies and different distributors and different resources that are out there. That's just who we are and what we love to do. So that's a little bit of a background of us. I wanted to share some of the things that we are doing in PraiseCharts right now. But before I go into that, I want to share even a little back further some of the story behind how this came about, like, you know, where PraiseCharts came from. And I want to go back before 1990, 80, 70, and I've got a picture here that I want to show you that probably goes back to 1940. This is my dad. He's 16 years old. And he's the reason why I'm a musician and why I started this company, because I had music deposited into me. How many of you had music deposited into you by your fathers? And so I just thought, I want to start out, the word that I have had in my heart since the first day I met the first guy at this Metro conference is the word honor. And I actually blogged about it on Monday. If you go to PraiseCharts, you'll find a blog I wrote about a pastor I met who's here, whose son wrote an email honoring him, and I just thought to myself, I want to honor my dad in front of you guys, because he was the guy that paved the way. He's got guitar in his heart and soul, and he knows 3 chords, and he can play them in a million combinations and get people singing, whether you're on the beach or by the pool or whatever. So my dad has a bucket list of several things that he wants to do in his life. One of the things in his bucket list was he wanted all 4 of us in our family to all be on motorcycles, touring bikes, and he wanted to take us touring all around the country. So when I was 19, We all had touring bikes. I had a Goldwing 1500. My mom had a BMW. He had a bike, a trailer behind, and we went for 10 weeks all around North America. My brother, my mom, and my dad, and me. So check, bucket list was off. But the next thing on his bucket list is the crowning achievement that I have in PraiseCharts. Is he's a musician. He's never going to be like a great selling artist, but I knew that he's not going to be around for much longer. He had a heart attack 5 years ago, and I feel like he's a walking time bomb. So he could just die at any moment, and we're going to lose his voice, the quality of the music that he's deposited in me. So I took him on an airplane and my mom, and we flew down to Oklahoma to one of my producers and stuck ourselves in a studio for 3 days, and I blew him out of the water, and myself as well, because I've really not been a part of this world. And we recorded about 20 songs. These are all old Hank Williams, old hymns, all that kind of old classic stuff. And this world just kind of evolved around him. It was just awesome to see. So a few months after that, we came out with his album. I did my own personal photo shoot of my dad. We drove that truck onto his property and called it Truck Drive and Van. And you can see on the back there all the different songs that we did. Lily of the Valley, and just great hymns. So I'm happy to say that when I get home on Monday, I'm going to pick up my second printing of 500 albums that I'm going to be handing off to him. Now, yes, we've only sold 200 and given the other 1,000 away, but this is my dad's pride and joy, and I'm proud to put the PraiseCharts logo on that, and I'll do praise and worship music and orchestra stuff for the rest of my life, but that is the reason why I do what I do. And I really believe in honoring the next generation. So I want to tell you just a little bit about what we're doing in PraiseCharts. For many of you, PraiseCharts is the only name that you really know about us, but in this last year we've done a little bit of brand developing, and there's a company over top that's called Sonreign Media, and you can see the PraiseCharts logo underneath there is now actually a sister to a developing family of brands, and it's almost like a Microsoft Office suite of products that we've got the Excel, we've got the Word, we've got the Outlook and PowerPoint. So that's what we're developing with PraiseCharts, WorshipVue, WorshipTraining, Liturgies, ChordShark, and there's even a new one that's just being birthed in the last couple of weeks. So I want to share with you a little bit about why we're doing what we're doing with Sonreign Media, of which PraiseCharts is a part of. So a few words that really capture why we do what we do. The first word, it just kind of goes without saying, but I just want to tell you this, all I really care about is worship. I started as a worship pastor. I didn't make PraiseCharts for you. I made it for me. Because I had a band, I had grade 10, 11, 12 kids in my orchestra. They were playing trumpet. My orchestra was like 2 trumpets, a saxophone, an oboe, and a flute, and that was it. But after I did worship services, I had parents coming up to me saying, "Ryan, thank you so much for including my boy in your band, because otherwise he wouldn't be connected." And I just kind of caught the vision that this isn't all about sounding like the recording. This is about involving people in the ministry of worship. So that's why orchestrations are important to me. Not because I want to sound like a 1950s, 60s, 70s church. In fact, I believe you can have an orchestra and sound like the current generation. I'm sure many of you feel the same way. And I'm going to keep pumping them out because I don't believe they're going out of style. I don't believe Psalm 150 is going out of style. And so as long as you guys keep breathing, I'm going to keep pumping out music for you. And worship is that. Innovation. Some of you may know that my title is Chief Innovator, and Debbie is the C-blank-O. We have a bunch of other quacky titles that we have, but I just love inventing. I like, if I was born 100 years ago, maybe I would have invented the light bulb. But it would have been for a church to light up the choir for worship, because that's all I really care about. But that's why PraiseCharts is standing alongside numerous other brands, because I just sit in my office there and I think, what's it like to be a worship pastor? And that's a problem. Well, we could solve that. And what if we could do that? And they would have never thought of this. And all of it would fall flat, I'm telling you, if I didn't have people on my team like Debbie, who runs more of the business side of things, and we make great things happen. So innovation happens a lot. Integration, we're trying to build this suite of things that work and fit together like hand in glove. So when you go to WorshipVue, you'll find related music that's pumped in from PraiseCharts. And you go to Liturgies and you'll find music that's pumped in from PraiseCharts and media from WorshipVue. And this whole world is kind of all fitting together. Digital. We've just decided we want to be front runners on the digital realm. And it's complicated. In these last 15 years, let me tell you, publishers have sweated through this industry change. And I want to be on the forefront of the bridge between you and the conference I was at last week, Church Music Publishers Association, where they spent the same amount of time sweating and figuring out, what are we going to do with all these guys that have all this music in digital format? How are we going to control it? And then I come here with you and you're more thinking, we love this. It's opening up all these new doors, and we're committed to making it something that can work. And that kind of leads me to the last word, is legitimate. Might not seem that important to you, but if we don't come up with a system to distribute goods digitally that is legitimate, it's not going to sustain, and the music river is going to die out. If you guys just take your 99-cent song and go and share them with your 100-folk choir or whatever, eventually the artists aren't going to be producing great music anymore because there's not a sustainable business model that's underneath it. So there are ways to make it worthwhile and work, and that's what we're committed to building. So now I'm just going to take you through a few of the brands. PraiseCharts is one you'll recognize. Lots of great music. Lots of people like that What's Hot list because it shows every day, it rekindles and shows what are the great songs that are being sung in the church today. So that kind of reflects some of the songs that were really strong at Christmas time. WorshipVue is a media site similar to something like Worship House Media, and really the key advantage that we have with WorshipVue is, again, integration with PraiseCharts. It's a very similar type of site and suite. Then WorshipTraining, something that we are actually in process of rebranding this year to be kind of inside our PraiseCharts WorshipVue world. And we have thousands of worship team members who are coming there and just taking little 3- and 5-minute deposits of training, how to sing, how to plan, how to do this, how to do that. We're figuring out the world of training worship leaders online. ChordShark is a little pet project of mine because I really love ChordCharts, and I want to figure out, what is the maximum amount of things I can do with a little text file. And we'll put songs in any key and any shape, with lyrics, without lyrics, PowerPoint, this and that. And all these ChordShark files end up finding their way like a river stream into Liturgies and into PraiseCharts and all the different sites that we have. And I just put this little image to show you that we are actually going to be introducing a music side of ChordShark, which will let you transpose up and down. I know that that is not the greatest genius invention of the world right now, but it's a part of our suite that we're trying to develop. This is an exciting new development. We're launching this site in the next couple of weeks. And you might think, oh, Liturgies, well, I'm not a liturgical church. I don't really care about that. But I'm telling you something. In this day and age, something has happened on two sides of the river. One, the liturgical churches are wanting to borrow into the camp of contemporary and modern worship music. And then on the other side, the contemporary and modern churches are looking at the liturgical side going, we want some of the depth and history and substance that is coming from the liturgical churches. So we have built a world that can create a bridge between the two, and that's in Liturgies. So we've got the major seasons there that we have tons of premium, pre-planned worship services, and then you will be able to come in, borrow them into your own account, and then tweak them. And we're developing this new concept. Now you heard it here. This is one of the first times that we're sort of revealing this, is that concept of social worship design. The idea being that you go in, you plan very complex worship services, and then you share them. And then other people go and they borrow and they tweak and they share, and it becomes an infinite pool of well-designed, planned worship services. So that's happening in Liturgies. And then just lastly, a couple more quick minutes. This might seem like, not that exciting, but I just want to tell you, I'm now on day 13. Okay, I'm on day 13 of my 16-day trip. We were at Church Music Publishers Association last week. And the thing that is going to stop digital music publishing from going is that you can't figure out how to control just buying one copy and making 10 or 20 or things like that. So here's something we're going to be doing in PraiseCharts. It's taking our music and dynamically stamping on the bottom of them a copyright line that will say, this is the church that owns it, this is how many copies you've purchased, and if you want to purchase more copies, you take your little iPhone and you stick it over top of the QR code at the bottom and you just say, okay, I'll need 7 more copies, and right at the photocopier, and boom, there you have CopyNow. And we're actually hoping, we've had other publishers expressing interest in this, like Lifeway and people like that. They're thinking, oh, that makes so much sense. And that's what I live for. I just want you guys to go, oh, why didn't I think of that? That's what my son said when I emailed him CopyNow, and I said, son, you're going to come up with much greater things than I will in your days. So we're all about serving you in 100 different ways. Next year I'll be back and I'll have another 5 different ideas and present them to you, and 2 will work and 3 won't, and that's okay, because that's how we do things. So it's great to be here today.